All right, who's ready for an impromptu stream? Grab the link. Let's see. Nope, that's not it. I don't know why I didn't have this already pulled up. Don't know why. All right, there we go. Got this pulled up. What's going on, everybody? Decided to do a little impromptu stream. As I'm sure you guys are well aware, trade has gone down in the NFL. I feel like we should talk about this for a little while from a fantasy perspective. Christian McCaffrey has been traded to San Francisco for a draft pick haul, big time dynasty trade for the Panthers. Full terms of the deal, the 49ers are getting star running back Christian McCaffrey, 26-year-old stud running back. And the Panthers get a second-round pick in 2023, a third-rounder in 2023, a fourth-rounder in 2023, and a fifth-rounder in 2024. So, pretty good haul for Carolina. Getting some draft picks back. I mean, look, Christian McCaffrey is a fantastic player, but when you stink the way the Panthers stink, a great running back is an unnecessary luxury. So it made sense for them to unload him. So they did pretty well, and the 49ers are contenders. They get one of the best players at his position in Christian McCaffrey. I'm sending the shareable link to my Discord. All right. Okay, so a couple of questions. Obviously, this is a big time move. This is a big time trade. And the fantasy fallout from here is pretty big. A lot of people are going to have questions about the Carolina backfield, right? Donta Foreman or Chuba Hubbard. I see it's already in the chat from Dwayne Johnson. What's going on, Dwayne? I think the answer is Foreman. Disbanded Brotherhood. What's going on? Agrees. I think it's Foreman. What we saw from Chuba Hubbard last year, wasn't super inspiring. He had one decent like mop up work. I think it was like week 3 of last year. They played on Thursday night, and that was when McCaffrey picked up an injury and Hubbard got in there. And I think he did decently well. Maybe had another game or two after that. But that was about it. When McCaffrey was battling injuries last year, Hubbard was not super impressive. Meanwhile, Foreman looked pretty good for Tennessee last year. He split work with Dontrell Hilliard during Derrick Henry's absence. Foreman looked a little bit better than Hubbard did. Now, 2 different situations last year, right? Hubbard was still on this bad Panthers team. They were bad last year, whereas the Titans were the number 1 seed in the AFC. They were just a better team. They proved it at least head to head against the Panthers. They proved it by continuing to win games even in Derrick Henry's absence. Foreman looked pretty good filling in there. So I'll say Foreman, but like this is a really bad Panthers team. I think the true answer is neither of them. You're talking about like maybe like 18 carries for 50 yards, and it's not like that's not totally. I'm not trying to poo-poo Foreman. It's just this Panthers team is not good. They're starting PJ Walker again this week, who they yanked for oh my God, who even went in? Who relieved PJ Walker? Oh my God, I can't even remember. I'm sure one of you guys know. Um, it's bad. It's bad in Carolina. These guys aren't trustworthy. I wouldn't be running to the waiver wire for either one of these guys. Um, Foreman, I think, is the better move. Could get, if you have in a bad bye week, I think he's got like a late bye, like a week 13 bye, something like that. So he's gonna be able to he can get you by for a little while as far as spot starts here and there. But like, man, he's got Tampa this weekend. Good luck. He's got Tampa. Good luck. Atlanta is actually pretty good against the run. Cincinnati's been good against the run. Then he gets Atlanta again at home. It's a little better. On the road in Baltimore, they're not great, but the Ravens are a better team than the Panthers. Denver's good against the run. His fantasy, okay, so he does have a juicy matchup week 16. That would be the fantasy semifinals against Detroit, but then championship week he's on the road in week 17 in Tampa. I'm not running to the wire for either one of these guys. By the way, I think John is asleep, but I'll text him either way just to see if he's up and wants to join me. He might be asleep. But I'll let him know. But I get it. He's on the East Coast. He has work in the net. It's late for him. All right. So all right, I want to make sure I don't get too lost in this comment section because I want to make sure I want to chat with everybody. I don't know how long I'll be on tonight, but definitely happy to talk through this specifically. I might entertain like a few questions for you other than McCaffrey, but this is probably we'll see how long I go. I don't know. How does it? So I think so. Lane Marty, Dwayne Johnson had just asked the same question. I don't know if you caught it from me, but essentially Foreman. That said, I'm not running to the wire for either one of these guys. Mike, what's going on? How does this affect Deebo? I think Deebo. The rushing totals are still possible there because I have to imagine the 49ers are going to want to use McCaffrey a lot as a receiver, kind of in like a reverse role. I think this is going to be fine for Deebo. I mean, Deebo's a stud. Deebo remains, an integral part of what the 49ers want to do on offense. McCaffrey just takes all the work and then some from Jeff Wilson. If Tyrion Davis Price was going to get back in there, he had like a 15 carry game before his injury. Debo's going to still get his, right? It's kind of like a golden. Oh, hell, my camera just went out. Hold on a second, guys. Sorry. Shoot. Hang on. Dang, my camera stopped working. Hold on. All right, we're doing FaceTime. I don't know what's going on with this, but damn it. Sorry, guys. This is really frustrating. This is very annoying. All right, there we go. I think I got it. Sorry about that. All right, I lost the chat room in my struggle with my camera. Hold on, let me get this back. But as far as if I'll just finish up the thought about Deebo. As far as it affecting Deebo, Deebo's going to still get his. I wouldn't worry about him. I really wouldn't. You're still firing him up as a wide receiver one. They're going to still continue to make sure they get him the ball in the backfield as well as throwing it. I'm not worried about him. I'm really not. All right, I need to get back to my like control room. There's ads playing on my. See if I can get this up here now. There we go. There we go. All right. There it is. All right. Thanks for the patience, guys. Sorry about that. Just a couple of technical difficulties, which we always seem to have. Let's see. Gitz, what's going on? You have to. Are those your only options to start over J.K. Dobbins? Foreman. I mean, you probably can't play Dobbins because he's probably not going to play. He hasn't practiced this week, so he's probably out. So if you need a body and they're the only options, I guess I would go Foreman. I think he's going to start, but like keep an eye on practice reports. I have to imagine they're gonna, maybe it's a bit of a committee at first. They try to see who could, if either one, if there's a hot hand that they're able to ride. But I would think Foreman gets the start. Yeah, and agreed. Neither one will be a needle mover at this point. Like they should just trade DJ Moore too. I know. I mean, DJ Moore is young, but man, I guess that's the fantasy fan of me talking. They're not going to trade DJ Moore. He's still young and very good, and can be good and could still be with them, like compete producing for them if on their timeline that they hope to be as far as being competitive again. So, but McCaffrey made sense for them to move. It might help open things up for Kittle and Ayuk. I mean, there's McCaffrey could eat into Kittle a little bit. I mean, I think Deebo they're going to still design plays for. He's their most, well, prior to McCaffrey, Deebo is their most talented playmaker. You have to keep giving him the ball. It won't be no carries, I don't think. I don't think it'll be no carries. Maybe a couple, like fewer, like one or two fewer, sure, maybe. But remember, there's language in Deebo's contract. There's language in Deebo's contract about incentives as far as rushing totals. The amount that he runs on that he rushes for, that he runs for. There's language in his contract about incentives for that. So not only did the 49ers like have this I think they have a long view with him, like utilizing him in the backfield, but that motivates him to want to get in the backfield too. So, if he's going to make extra money, then, by hitting certain totals, then he's going to want to be in there to get those opportunities. Right. So, that's the situation with Deebo. I think Deebo's fine. If anything, it probably hurts Kittle and Ayuk a little bit more. They're just not, and it's from the perspective of they're just not on the same level as playmakers as Deebo. Maybe Kittle is, but they don't use him to that full extent. And I know he had a good, maybe he's still working his way back from the injury. 8 catches, 81 yards or 83 yards. Yeah, I mean, he had his first good game post injury. So maybe he's getting his sea legs under him a little bit. But if you have Deebo, you can breathe easy. You're fine. You're all right. You can breathe easy if you have Deebo. Is Foreman a bench stash? Now, I guess that's the difference between like, can I start Foreman or not? Yeah, you can pick him up. You can pick Donta Foreman up. You can absolutely pick Donta Foreman up. And I don't think anybody's, I mean, now, Gitz, you sounded like you might have to start one of these dudes. So hopefully that's not the case. But Foreman is a bench stash. It's not a good start this Sunday against Tampa. It's not. He's not you can't possibly start him against Tampa Bay. It's obviously same goes for Chuba Hubbard. But yeah, you can pick it. If you have a guy who's a little bit more of an obvious drop, then sure. If you have a guy where you're like, I was just waiting for, if you have a dude on your bench where you were just waiting for a reason to drop him, then sure, now's the time. or looking for an excuse to drop him, now's the time. But hopefully you don't have to play him. But sure, if you have multiple bye weeks, maybe he can get you 7 or 8 points, maybe 10 points. Right? Yeah, I agree with disbanded brotherhood. Deebo remains firmly and an integral part of that offense. New Jerusalem, what's going on? Yeah, it's. I mean, Jimmy G gets another high octane weapon for the offense. Hell, if McCaffrey's able to suit up this week against San Francisco, then giddy up for Jimmy G as a streamer this week. As as far as Justice Hill over Drake, I don't know about that. I'm gonna. I mean, I know he's practicing. Yeah, I would probably avoid the Ravens backfield if I can. It's a great matchup, but it's like it's a crapshoot as to who the guy is gonna be. I guess maybe it'll be Drake. I guess it might be Drake. But like these ragtag running back like committees, we see this happen all the time, right? Like one guy does well one week, another guy does well the next week. It's hard to trust the Ravens backfield right now. Should it be Kenyon Drake? Maybe, yeah, after how he did, but like maybe they like Justice Hill in this matchup a little bit more. These are the type of like chess games or mind games that these coaches play. Christian Ailey trade Dillon for Foreman? Absolutely not. I know Dillon hasn't been good, but no. Dillon has a role. It's not been great so far. He hasn't delivered since week 1, but no. Don't trade Dillon for Foreman. AJ Dillon is not. I mean, unless you're playing in like a small league, 8-man league, you have to hang on to Dillon and just like hope for the best. He was a higher draft pick. You probably spent like a 6th or so round pick on him. He probably, based on where you draft AJ Dillon this year, you had a plan for him to be a part of your regular rotation, if not your starting lineup, like regularly. And he delivered week 1. He's getting the work. The results aren't there yet, but it's still a better offense. Like for all the struggles Green Bay's going through right now, it's a better offense. Dillon's a better player. No, do not trade. Even an underperforming running back, I do not trade for Foreman. Don't trade Dillon for Foreman. Don't trade Clyde Edwards-Helaire for Foreman. I don't even know. I mean, I wouldn't even trade like Antonio Gibson for Foreman. I mean, maybe you can make an argument there, but yeah, no, I'm not going out of my way to do something like that. Is this a bad thing as a Christian McCaffrey owner? No way. No. And what's going on, Jay? No. I mean, he lands in a spot that is regularly praised for how effective and how creative they are with running the ball. Plus McCaffrey. I mean, if you guys are into this sort of stuff, these sort of outlier things, like these intangibles outside the score sheet type of stuff, McCaffrey's going home. He played college at Stanford. So McCaffrey's going home. Like, he's I mean, there might be a comfortability level there. Not, and he's a professional. He's going to go out there and perform and play, and perform to his highest ability, no matter where he is or where he goes. But like, there's got to be a little added bonus there. So he's probably comfortable. The 49ers are have a dynamic rushing attack that, that is going to work with McCaffrey, because you don't even have to say like this style fits McCaffrey like perfectly, because you could put McCaffrey in any offense and he should flourish. So this is just a bonus. It's an offense that is regularly praised for how creatively they run the ball. So no, this is a good thing for him. As far as TDP and Dynasty, Giovanni, and what's going on? Thanks for coming in. I guess he's the other running back that you can keep tabs on, but I mean, he's going to be running at best second fiddle for the next 3 years, maybe 2, but probably 3. The 49ers just made a pretty big investment, bigger than the one that they made in TDP. We just have to keep that in mind. The 49ers spent a 3rd round pick on Tyrion Davis-Price. They just traded a 2nd and a third and 2/4 for Christian McCaffrey. So I will say, from a dynasty perspective, Tyrion Davis Price is, you know, more interesting than Jeff Wilson for sure, but he's also more interesting than Elijah Mitchell at this point. Um, Unfortunately for Elijah Mitchell, who looked great last year in his opportunities, but we also just got confirmation on what the 49ers think of the backfield situation. So TDP is, you can keep tabs on him if you have him. Great. Should be a good depth running back. Christian McCaffrey, he's not injury prone, but he has had injuries the past couple of years. So obviously TDP is still not like so far away from an opportunity, but he's not a long-term, you know, he's interesting for a little while as a depth guy. And we'll go from there. What do people do with their current running backs in San Francisco? I mean, you can hope that Jeff Wilson, puts on a good showing in a potential, like, maybe they for 1 week ease McCaffrey into the offense and utilize Wilson, and then try to sell, like, that's not even going to be selling high on that, but just like trying to sell on what you hope is a good performance. If not, which is I'm not banking on, you're probably looking at a situation where he's droppable. And the same goes for Elijah Mitchell. I mean, their values with McCaffrey in the mix. Obviously, Deebo. You guys, everybody was at, or people were asking about Deebo. They're prioritizing Deebo over Jeff Wilson and Elijah Mitchell, so he will continue to get work over those two. And then, of course, it's Christian freaking McCaffrey. By the second week that you have him, you are not committing Christian McCaffrey. So I hate to say it, you can try right now to catch somebody sleeping if you have Jeff Wilson or Elijah Mitchell, even though he's still on IR. But in all likelihood, this is it for both of them. This is probably it for both of them. Anthony Garcia, what's going on? You can spam D Hop if you want. He got 100 yards in his return. He's looking good. Camden Smith, I don't think so. I don't think his numbers are I don't think they have to drop. I mean, this is a better offense. He steps into a better offense where he's not necessarily the focal point, and in turn, he makes them better. That's it. Like, he makes them better, and they are, better than what he had. It's a great match. He's a top 3 running back rest of season. He was anyway, but maybe now his ceiling is a bit higher. Probably his ceiling is a bit higher. Scoring opportunities just went up. I know they looked really bad last week in Atlanta, but this is still an offense with a lot of talent. And you got to think from a mental perspective in the San Francisco locker room right now, the 49ers locker room right now, they just got a shot in the arm. They're feeling good, right? They have to be. If you're a player in that 49ers locker room, I mean, maybe not Elijah Mitchell and Jeff Wilson, but anybody else, you're feeling good. This is a piece where it's like, okay, we're going for this. Like, this is a motivator on both sides. And and then, on the actual field, it's a better team. It's a better offense. So his scoring opportunities are up. McCaffrey's going to be just fine. Just fine. Raul, I mean, it probably impacts Deebo, but Deebo is still, exactly an integral part of what they want to do on offense. I would wager it impacts Ayuk and Kittle more than impacts Deebo. Deebo is just a more utilized, larger, big time playmaker over those other guys. I know Ayuk had a great game last week. I like Ayuk. Kittle's been a perennial top 5 tight end, but I mean, you see the impact that Deebo has. You want the ball in Deebo's hands. This makes him more dynamic. Deebo and Christian McCaffrey are going to help each other. It's a hell of a combination when you think about it. Like, they can basically do each other's jobs. Like, think about it. You put Deebo and McCaffrey in the backfield, where's the ball going? You could hand it to either one, or you could throw it to either one on any given snap where you have that formation. This is going to be good for both of them. And yeah, if you don't have Jeff Wilson, kudos. Don't go acquiring him either. Yep, Shane, yes. He escaped. He got out. Yeah, like this is a good thing. This is a very good thing. We don't know that his workload and volume will decrease. We haven't seen him in the offense yet. Like we can't sit here and say that. He's a top. I mean, yeah, no, he's a top 3 running back. He was a top 3 running back before the trade. He's a top 3 running back now. His ceiling is higher. And even if his touches go down, his efficiency has a chance to go way up because the team is better. They are more creative with like running screens, little like wide receiver screens, like out in the flat. Like they're going to line McCaffrey up that way. This is a more creative offense. Yeah, I mean, you're going from Matt Rule to Kyle Shanahan. Giddy up. What's Elijah Mitchell thinking right now? Elijah Mitchell unfortunately lost his job. I mean, or whatever version of 1A, 1B back touches he may have had with Jeff Wilson. And the same thing with Jeff Wilson. Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna. McCaffrey to the moon, man. McCaffrey to the moon. Maybe for 1 week, guys. Maybe, like hard maybe for 1 week, they committee the situation because McCaffrey only knows like half the playbook, and Jeff Wilson gets some extra run, and then you can try your damnedest to trade him, but it's probably not going to happen. And then at that point, if not sooner, it's just wheels up on McCaffrey. Elijah Mitchell and Jeff Wilson, we hardly knew ye. The Golden Eagle, you can try. I would say Wilson maybe hold for 1 more week. If Brian Robinson is available, then drop Jeff Wilson right now for Brian Robinson, Golden Eagle. If you have Jeff Wilson and Brian Robinson is on waivers, pick up Brian Robinson and drop Jeff Wilson. Go do that now. Yep, touchdowns are going to go up. Xavier's fired up. What's going on, Xavier? This is a big-time move for that 49ers offense. Big-time move. I would, How can you be anything other than excited if you're a 49er fan? It's exciting. JP, you dropped Drake for Donta Foreman. I mean, I guess that's fine. It's good you played Eno. I mean, do you want to trade for McCaffrey? You're going to have to give up the farm. You're going to have to start with Miles Sanders and one of your best wide receivers. I mean, it's no small task to trade for Christian McCaffrey, a healthy Christian McCaffrey. Richard Watkins, Foreman, but like, you don't have to run to the wire for either one of these guys. Don't worry. Xavier, do you play Christian McCaffrey? Yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah. Maybe does he only play 50% of the snaps in his very first game? Like, maybe. But it's Christian McCaffrey. If he has no injury designation, that man is in your lineup. He's in your lineup. Hands down. Yeah. Victor, agree. Yeah, thanks for helping out. Yeah, Richard, if you got Foreman, that's nice. I mean, he's a bench stash. He's a bench stash for now. That's it. Do not start him against Tampa Bay this week. Just don't. No, guys. Xavier, I know you asked. Jay, you also asked. Christian McCaffrey, 50% of the snaps, you are playing that man. You are playing Christian McCaffrey. It might be a floor game, but a floor game for McCaffrey is 14 points, 13 points. You're playing McCaffrey. Like, yeah, He might get tripped up on like maybe he goes one way. Jimmy G expects him to go the other way because he just doesn't have the verbiage down yet. He's still trying to figure out the plays. Sure, but it's Christian McCaffrey. You are playing that man. You are playing that man. He is in your lineup. He is in your lineup. And yes, McCaffrey helps the SMP. McCaffrey helps them do everything. He helps them do everything. Yup. This is this is a huge move. This is a significant upgrade in situation for McCaffrey. There is no bones about it. Like, I know Jimmy G is not like the guy you write home about, but that offense compared to the Panthers offense, it's apples and oranges. Eagle pack opener. What's up, Eagle? You gave Cooper Kupp. You got Alan Lazard, Michael Pittman, and Najee. You got a good haul. You gave up one of the best players in the game, but at least you got 3 players. And you don't need to repost your questions. I will get to every question. Fuck, here come the bots. You got a good haul, Eagle, and yeah, again, guys, I know I take a little bit of time to get to every question. I will get to all of them. You don't have to post them again. I see them. If I miss it, or maybe it doesn't get picked up because we have some technical issues sometime with the chat. If you think I missed your question, let me know. But I am going in order, and you can see the chat if you have this pulled up. Lazard has been like a 15-point scorer for several weeks in a row. Pittman came back to life this past week, 13 for 134. Najee's been struggling, but it's running back depth for you. So I'd say it's fine. You got a lot. He's a really good player, but you got a package. You got a guy who's a low end wide receiver 1, a guy who can be a wide receiver 2. Najee's a running back 2 right now, but I guess you can hope he has running back 1 upside. So yeah, I'm fine with that. Let's see. Shane, you dropped Khalil Herbert for Foreman. I guess just because Foreman's got his opportunity now, Herbert doesn't quite have his opportunity yet. I would be curious to know who else you got though, Shane, because if you can get Herbert back, I think he's better than Montgomery now. The coaching staff doesn't appear to see it that way, but Herbert appears to be the better player when he gets in there. Now, it's few and far between when he gets in there when Montgomery's healthy, but I do like Herbert as a stash as well. But picking up Foreman is fine. Mike, that's a steal and a half. I would be drinking a beer in celebration if I were you, man. Turning Wilson into Kenneth Walker, that aged like a fine wine, baby. Nicely done. Davis Price is an interesting guy to keep an eye on in Dynasty, but they made their investment just now. The 49ers did. Tyrion Davis Price was a 3rd round pick. They spent a 2nd, a 3rd, and 2 4ths on Christian McCaffrey. We know where the work is going. And yeah, Foreman is the bench stash. Anybody asking Foreman or Chuba, Foreman's the bench stash. But to be completely honest, I'm not crazy. Like, neither one of these guys are guys you need to go running to the wire for. Yeah. Okay. Looks like everybody got Foreman. Will, what's going on? Do I think he plays? Yeah, I think he plays. They just traded. He's got to pass his physical, and he probably needs like a walkthrough Saturday. I know this trade is coming late in the week. He's basically got 48 hours or so to get ready for the game. Maybe it's a little bit more than that. I would play him. Plus, they just lost, and they're playing Kansas. They're playing Kansas City. I wouldn't trade for Christian McCaffrey and then go up against the Chiefs without him, right? I wouldn't go up against the. I just traded for Christian McCaffrey, and I'm going up against Patrick Mahomes. I think I need Christian McCaffrey. I didn't tell you to drop Madison. I didn't tell you to drop Madison. I mean, yeah, he's got an opportunity, but like, it's one of the worst. It's like they're one of the worst teams in the NFL. Madison is a Dalvin Cook shoulder dislocation away from an RB1 workload. I didn't tell you to drop Madison, but if you want the guy who has the opportunity, then all right. And yes, McCaffrey did go to Stanford. Super, super smart school. Shout out, go Cardinal. Shout out Stanford. Shout out Stanford. Hey, we don't need to hate on our sinus. Go Bears. Caos in Cali or Chaos. I haven't seen that. I don't know where that specifically is coming from, but yeah, I mean, look, when you trade for McCaffrey, you find a way to get him on the field. Like it would make sense. Um, I haven't seen any reports confirming like their thought process as far as how they're going to use him in game one. But I mean, again, you're going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. You just lost to the Falcons. I know it was a road game, but you just lost. Um, you need to win a game here. If you're San Francisco, you need to win a game. You're playing at home. It's the Chiefs. You're unloading Christian McCaffrey against those guys. So yeah, to that point, you're firing him up. Mike, what happened? Were you taking a nap, buddy? Christian McCaffrey just got traded. Christian McCaffrey's going to the 49ers, and he is going to see green grass for days with the blocking he's about to get compared to what he got in Carolina. So, yeah, we're firing up Christian McCaffrey this weekend. 50% of the snaps, that's fine. Yeah, if McCaffrey gets 50% of the snaps in game one, you live with that. You start him, you live with it. We move on to the next week. Are you asking Pittman and Pierce for Taylor, Hubbard, and Mooney? I mean, depends on who your other wide receivers, or depends on who the Taylor wide receivers are, but tentatively the Taylor side. I mean, he comes back and you assume he's going to be Jonathan Taylor. I gotta take Jonathan Taylor because at least I'm getting. I mean, Mooney's he's come back a little bit to, as far as like showing signs of life the past couple of weeks, right? So at least he's a bit more of a wide receiver 3. Right? What's Mooney done recently? I feel like he's had a couple of good games here. Yeah. 7 for 68 on 12 targets. He got to 50 yards. It was only 2 catches week 5. It's not great, but it's not nothing. And then 4 for 94 week 4. So he showed signs of life. Yeah, the Taylor side. Pittman and Pierce are obviously clear Mooney and Hubbard with complete ease, but I mean Taylor's got top 5 running back upside. I mean, you hope Pierce finishes the season as a top 15 running back. You expect Taylor for the rest of the season to be top 5. And getting Mooney in the deal as well, like yeah, you get a little bit, you get that pot sweetener. I would take the Taylor side. I know Pittman just popped. Pierce is super enticing, super intriguing rest of season. But I'm taking Taylor there. As long as my wide receivers are like, capable, then give me Taylor. Give me the Taylor side. I didn't know Shanahan was once McCaffrey's babysitter. Fun little tidbit. Fun little tidbit. Hunter, what's going on, man? As far as Foreman rest of season, yeah, I mean he's a bench stash. He's a bench stash. You're not starting him this week against Tampa. And honestly, looking at his schedule coming up, I'm not crazy about starting him any of these next 4 or 5 games at least at all. But I mean, I guess we'll see what happens, right? Let's see if he can, let's see if he can put a couple performances together. But against Tampa, even though it's at home, with PJ Walker at quarterback, I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that. Oh, Gitz, you'd be getting Pearson, Pittman. You have Cup, you have Evans, you have JT. Oh, and you have Mooney. Nah, man, keep Taylor. I would keep Taylor. I would keep Taylor, Gitz. Yeah. Keep the guy that you drafted with the first or second overall pick. 101 baby. Yeah, man. I mean, DJ Moore deserves better. Or I don't know if you're sorry. I don't want to assume your gender. I said, yeah, man. Yeah. DJ Moore deserves a lot better. He has put together multiple 1,000-yard receiving, 1,000-yard seasons. Has like almost nothing to show for it in the form of like being on competitive teams. His quarterback play has been awful. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. I mean, that he had Cam at the very tail end of his career. It's been a brutal stretch for DJ Moore. Yeah, he deserves better. He's man, he's not, and he remains not playable right now. This is going to make it even harder for him. You want to talk? I mean, you want to talk about like there were some people wondering like, what does this mean for McCaffrey's touches, or is he going to score less? I mean, now like what does anybody as far as an opposing defensive coordinator need to pay attention to on the Panthers other than DJ Moore? Oh man, dude, like 60 receiving yards might end up being DJ Moore's high watermark for a single game this season. I hope I'm wrong because DJ Moore is awesome, but he's in hell right now. DJ Moore is in hell. They need a good quarterback and fast. They need a competent quarterback. I mean, yeah. I just don't think they trade him. Isn't he still like 24? How old is DJ Moore? Oh, he's 25. All right, he's a little older than I thought, but still, like, he's got 5 years in him. They're going to try to continue to compete with him. It's McCaffrey was on a faster downward trend just because of the position that he plays. They might try to hang on to DJ Moore for another, at least another couple years, or at least another season. I mean, if they think they can get there, I mean, if like, do you trade DJ Moore for the same package that you just got for Christian McCaffrey? I guess you would, but you're not going to get that for him. McCaffrey's been the top player at his position before. More for all of his success, despite his terrible situation, has never been put in the same vein as Christian McCaffrey as far as like where he lands. in the pantheon of wide receivers. You know, would I start Sutton or McCaffrey? You're playing McCaffrey. I mean, I hope I can play. I would hope I can play both of them. But you're playing. I mean, Sutton has a broken Russell Wilson and a terrible head coach to deal with in a broken offense. McCaffrey just got a significant upgrade. Even if, again, 50% of the snaps, I'm playing McCaffrey. I'm not. You could tell me that McCaffrey is only expected to play 50% of the game, and I am firing him up. He could do the most with the least. Why am I not higher on Foreman? Because Disbanded Brotherhood said it. The team stinks. I know he looked good last year when he got his opportunities. He split work with Dontrell Hilliard in Tennessee. He looked good when he had his opportunities, but this is a totally different. It's not for this team stinks. The Panthers stink, and they have some tough run defenses on the schedule. It could be like he might get 15 carries for 50 yards. Maybe he scores every third game, maybe. Like, how many scoring opportunities is he going to have? How frequently are the Panthers going to be in neutral game script? Maybe, at home, I guess you expect them to compete. But, like, this team stinks. They stink. The Panthers stink. Yeah, I guess, good players or players produce on bad teams too. But, like, oh man, this is, I mean, no disrespect, but to Dante Foreman, but he's a he's a backup by trade thrust into a starter's role in a terrible situation. McCaffrey was able to overcome it because he's Christian McCaffrey. I don't know if Foreman gives you, I don't know if he gives you 50% of what McCaffrey gave you. I don't know if he gives you 50% of that. I'm not saying don't grab Foreman. I did say pick up Foreman. It's just I'm not like, if I don't have obvious drops, then I'm not gonna like go out of my way. If I missed out on him, it's like, all right, whatever. Yeah, we'll see. I agree, pick him up. I don't. I mean, I agree, pick him up, but like, don't have expectations. He might have a couple games. Low end RB3. Might have an RB2 week, like every blue moon. Foreman or MVS rest of season? I guess I'll say Foreman, Aquas. I guess I'll say Foreman just because I don't trust the Chiefs wide receivers can't be trusted on a week to week basis. Didn't MVS goose egg last week? Like, yeah, I can't trust anybody in that, and I can't trust a single Chiefs wide receiver, and that includes Juju having a good game last week. It's just it's so up and down. But yeah, Foreman over like MVS, like a random middling wide receiver who you're not going to start unless your entire wide receiver core like falls apart. Then yeah, grab the running back stash. MVS drop. Isaiah McKenzie drop. Like, maybe even as far as depending on how shallow your league is, like a guy like a Romeo Dubs, like drop. Take a shot on. Yes, I agree. Take a shot on the guy with the starting opportunity. I wouldn't expect the world, but yes, stash running backs are typically just on average more valuable than these random wide receivers. 101, I love Cam Newton, but I think that's over. If he was supposed to be on an NFL roster, he'd be on one. And I love Cam. Cam was awesome. It was so much fun to watch. He had a hell of a stretch, hell of a run. MVP. I mean, he's MVP of the league. Nobody can take that away from him. Um, He might be able to run a little bit still. He looked shot throwing the football last year. I think that ship has sailed. The Panthers need to hit the reset button, and they are. They need to tank. They need to tank out. They need to lose out. They need to get. I know you don't want to root for losses, right? As a fan, you want your team to win games. You want your football team to win games. This team is not built to do that on offense right now. And so they need to go get a quarterback because Baker Mayfield's not it. Sam Darnold's not it. PJ Walker's not it. And unfortunately, Cam Newton is no longer it. The time to hit the reset button in Carolina is now. And they're doing that. They're doing that. John Hernandez, Gleaton, what's going on? Foreman was very good with the Titans last year. So there's something to be said for that. It's just, I mean, and his situation is not great. It's like we're looking at like a 15 carry, 50-yard type of average. I would, if I'm wrong, good for Foreman, but like it is such a bad situation. He might get 50% of what McCaffrey gives you. And it's not all on Foreman. Again, he was in a great situation last year and he delivered. He produced. Now he's in a significantly worse situation. Am I sure it won't be an RBBC, Joe Villan? Or no, I'm not. Like, yeah, Chuba, I don't know. Chuba didn't look great last year, but also Chuba was a fourth round rookie. Like, yeah, did he improve this year? I don't know. I'm not sure there won't be an RBBC. By default, I'll say Foreman should be the first man up on waivers because he looked better last year. He looked better. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll maybe, obviously young players can get better, right? Young players can improve. It happens all the time. So yeah, Chuba could force, a bit of a committee here, and they're in evaluation mode too, right? The Panthers are not only are they probably tanking, they are evaluating. They're looking at their young guys, so they're going to give Chuba. They'll probably give Chuba a look. They'll give him opportunities, but Foreman might be first man up just because he was better last year. We're coming up to the end of the chat, so I'm probably going to stick around for a couple more minutes. This was obviously an impromptu opportunity to talk shop with everybody in lieu of the big news. Christian McCaffrey traded to San Francisco. Appreciate people coming in, talking shop. But I'll probably take these last few questions and then we'll call it a night because I know it's getting late for my friends on the East Coast. But we'll keep it rolling. If Kyren, yeah, I do, John. I think Kyren Williams is a stash. Cam Akers is done in LA. Yes, Darrell Henderson is there, but they were talking Kyren Williams up in training camp. Sean McVay seems to like him. He just needs to get back. He needs to get back healthy from the injury. It's probably going to take him, a few weeks to get his sea legs under him, but they'll probably give him an opportunity. So yeah, he's a good stash. And Mitchell is, I hate to say it, but Mitchell is a drop. Mitchell and Jeff Wilson are kaput. Yeah. Mitchell can be dropped. Jeff Wilson can be dropped. I mean, if you want to wait a week on Jeff Wilson, okay, fine, because he's the healthy one, right? Maybe he sees 50% of the snaps this week for San Francisco. You want to hang on to Wilson for one more week, fine. But it's about as close to donezo for Jeff Wilson as you can get. Yeah, we'll see. Will, you're on as an uninvited guest to gloat like every other week. What you talking about? No, I'm kidding. Foreman, I mean, look, yes, he's got an opportunity. We'll see. Oh, on camera, yeah, all right. Well, you have your people call my people. we'll see what happens. Right, he's got an opportunity, but we have to remember there's a good point that actually that Joe Villa brings up. It's like there could be maybe they look at Chuba just because he's the younger guy, and it's like they're just evaluating, right? It's like they're evaluating. Let's see what we have. Let's see what young pieces we have that we want to like plan to move forward with. Um, Running back probably should not be high on the list of priorities for Carolina in this year's draft. They need other pieces, quarterback to start. Um, they might use they could use these extra pieces as capital to move up if they need to, if they feel like they're not in range of getting a quarterback prospect that they want. So, you know, Chuba Hubbard could have an opportunity here. We'll see. But he was a fourth round rookie and he didn't look great last year. Foreman will find the end zone here and there. He'll be fine. Like he'll be fine here and there. I would think he's more of like an RB3. But yeah, he'll find the end zone here and there. He'll give you a 15-point week every, I don't know, once a month, maybe once every 3 weeks. But then it's more like 12 points. I'm not, again, I'm not like, I don't know. We'll see. He got his opportunity. I'm not going nuts to run into the waiver wire. Yeah, we'll see. RB3-ish. I'll have his RB 2 weeks, once a month. Pokey Lopez, should you start Foreman? Probably not this week, not against Tampa. I would hope you have other guys that you can turn to. I mean, if you were relying on J.K. Dobbins, it doesn't look like he's going to play this week. So if you don't have a choice, then like, okay, sure. But man, I mean, going against Tampa, yeah, let's see Foreman first. Stash him on your bench, sure. Pick him up. I would not start him unless you're in dire straits. I don't know. Maybe you have Dalvin Cook and Darrell Henderson and Miles Sanders as your running backs, and they're all on bye. And you didn't have James Conner tonight. Like I'm making up a scenario. Like if you don't have any of your dudes, then I guess so. But like, no, we need to fire up other running backs over Foreman. Not against Tampa. Yeah. You Pierce Williams and Hunt. You're playing those guys. Pokey. You're playing those three dudes. Or if you can play all three, like two and a flex or whatever, you're playing those three guys. Yeah, you're playing those three dudes. Foreman, you can pick Foreman up, but don't play him against Tampa. We need to see this first. We need to see how this shakes out first. Nobody can sit here and say they know that Chuba doesn't get the first snap on Sunday. I assume it's Foreman. He played better. He is listed higher on the depth chart right now. Last I checked, anyway, and he looked better last year than Hubbard did. So we can assume Foreman takes the first snap, but we don't know what the Panthers are thinking. That being said, pick up Foreman, stash him on your bench. We'll see what happens. 101. I mean, with Matt Corral, like you can try to plan to go with him, but if you're in position, the Panthers, where are they right now? Like, where would their pick be today right now? I can look this up myself, but in case anybody knows before. Okay, they have the first pick. They right now today, and obviously there's still more season to be played. If the draft, I mean, and again, take this with a grain of salt because the season still has to be played out. But right now today, the Panthers would have the first pick in the NFL draft. if they can take their favorite quarterback between CJ Stroud and Bryce Young, they're going to do that. If they can have their choice between Bryce Young and CJ Stroud or whoever their favorite quarterback prospect is, they're going to do that. But Corral might get an opportunity, but again, he's hurt now. They can't evaluate him right now. They can next year in a young quarterback competition, which might be smart. But if you have the first pick in the draft and you don't have like a surefire prospect that you invested in, I think you go quarterback. I mean, we'll see what happens. You can try Corral, but then you could also draft one, have a quarterback competition, and then if Corral plays well, you might be able to flip him for better capital than you traded him for. I mean, we'll see. We're talking about months from now, right? So who knows? But maybe the Panthers really like Corral, but they spent a third round pick on him. Yeah. But we'll see. The draft is a long way off. The Panthers are obviously in evaluation mode. They're going to look at every young guy down to the last dude on their 53-man roster, as they should. Right? This is they're not going for it this year. McCaffrey to the 49ers from a fantasy perspective. He had top 3 upside each and every week before the trade. He has top 3 upside now, probably with a higher ceiling. Jeff Wilson, Elijah Mitchell, sorry to say, but they're probably both toast. You don't committee Christian McCaffrey after you trade 4 draft picks to acquire Christian McCaffrey. And Deebo's going to be fine. This offense is going to be better. And Jimmy Garoppolo just got a week-to-week regular streaming boost floor. In one quarterback leagues. And in Superflex leagues, he's now, that's just an even bigger boost for Jimmy G. That's going to do it for me, guys. Just wanted to hop on really quick and talk shop with everybody about the McCaffrey trade. So appreciate everybody coming in and talking shop, asking questions. Always fun. I know Panthers fans don't like the owner. This is a good forward-thinking move, but yeah, I know he has pretty much it's been bad for them. They deserve better at this point. 101, you deserve better at this point. It's been a little while since the Panthers have been competitive. Time to change the fortunes. We'll see if this does that. That's gonna do it for me, guys. Everybody have a great night. Everybody have a good Friday. We are here this weekend, Saturday for Start Sit Help, 6 p.m. Eastern, Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern. So if you have questions about Start Sit, we'll be here. The answer to should you start Christian McCaffrey this week is yes. As long as he plays, as long as he's active for the 49ers, you are playing Christian McCaffrey. And Foreman is worth a bench stash. Let's see how he does as the presumed starter. That's going to do it for me, guys. Everybody have a great weekend if we don't see you. But hopefully we do in one of the Start Sit streams this weekend. Have a good night, everybody.